I'm doing this review for you people. I can't believe I'm doing this for a third time, but the good news is it's the last time. Yeah, so as you can see, the IMAX theater, it's pretty packed. Yeah, I guess a lot of people wanted to come see this movie, right? Yeah. Full house for 50 Shades Freed. We're here in the IMAX theater watching 50 Shades Freed. It starts in about a half an hour. I'm very excited to see this. It's the last one, thank God. Can't be that bad, right? Thank God it's over. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of AB in the Films. Well, it's Valentine's Day, and we know what that means. I have to sit through the third and, thank God, final 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Freed. I am free from 50 Shades Freed, right? Took notes. It's gonna be like Taken 3 again. We all know how much I hated Taken 3, so here we go. Okay, first of all, to give you an idea, the entire time while the movie was going, the reaction on my face was Mike Myers from Goldmember. This was my face. Okay, kids, so let's talk about the new movie, 50 Shades Freed. You know what? Let's call it what it really is. Twilight 8, Climax in the IMAX. Okay, so it starts off with Bella and Edward. Oh, I'm sorry, Anastasia Steele. 3 movies in, I still can't get over that name. Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey. They get married. And again, guys, this movie is almost exactly like Breaking Dawn. Almost. And I'm going to compare and contrast here for a few minutes here. The reason why I say it's a lot like Breaking Dawn is because they get married, they have sex, they have a kid, they drive up in a car that almost looks like a commercial for the car. Product placement. Twilight did this too. They go to a cabin, or it looks like a cabin, in the woods, and snow starts falling down in one of the shots. I swear to God, it looked just like Breaking Dawn, folks. There's a big climax scene at the end, and you think it's gonna tie in everything, and you get a little excited, and then poof, it didn't lead up to anything. It was pointless. Breaking Dawn Part 2 did the same thing. Okay, so let's go over the notes here. We start off with the wedding scene. And the great thing about this wedding scene is that it starts off with them literally putting the cufflinks on, and she's putting the gown on. And the good news is this. Here's one of the differences between Twilight 8 and Twilight Part 4.1. The wedding does not take 45 minutes to get through. Like, okay, like literally, the whole wedding scene happens in, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, because the opening credits are going on. They walk up, say the vows, he kisses the bride, We get to the reception for like maybe like, I don't know, 15 shots or so, 15 or 16 shots. And then they leave and they're slow dancing, and Christian's like, hey, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's blow this joint. And then they get out of here. And yes, this dialogue, I don't know what it is. It sounds like it gets cheesier and cheesier with every sequel. It's uncanny. I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. So then they leave, and here was my big editing problem with this. Okay, when they leave, okay, so there's a shot of them slow dancing at the reception, and Christian looks at her. He's like, "Hey, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's blow this joint." And she's in the gown. The next edit shot is them walking out of the reception, and she's not even in the dress anymore. She's in like a pantsuit, not even wearing the dress. And they're leaving, walking into the car. It says "just married," and everyone's throwing the rice and everything. And I'm like, well, where's her wedding dress? Like what the hell? Where's the wedding dress? What? Like, the next edit, it's not there. She's in, like, a working pantsuit. It looks like she's going to work. Like, it's... like, what the hell, man? I mean, okay, if she wanted to change, fine, but could we at least acknowledge that some time has gone by? It looked like no time went by. It was like, what? Okay, so that's that. Okay, and so then she goes back to work, and guys, it's just like 50 Shades Darker. Nothing happens in this movie. Nothing. So here's the first big, major flaw that they're gonna put in this movie. You ready for this? It's not really well explained, but oh my God, they said this line more times than... Okay, let me explain. Anna is still... She's not quite certain if she wants to change her last name. That's the big conflict that we're talking about in a movie right now. Whether I should change my last name or not. Because now she's married. So... So, she's not certain whether or not she wants to do that. I say do it. Because that last name... I say just go ahead and do it. Okay, so everyone... So, when she comes back to work after the honeymoon, literally everyone comes up to her, and they're like, oh, hello, Mrs. Gray. Hello, Mrs. Gray. Hello, Mrs. Gray. I swear to God, they say Mrs. Gray more times in this movie, throughout the whole movie, than they did Carol Ann in Poltergeist 3. Okay? It's that... It's gotta be at least over 100. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not. So, they're all saying, Mrs. Gray, Mrs. Gray, Mrs. Gray, and she hasn't changed her email yet from Steele to Gray. And she's in the middle of a meeting with an author or something. I still don't know what she does, folks. I thought she was a journalist, but now she's in books, now she's in publishing. But who gives a shit, right? Who cares? We just want to see the sex scenes. So Christian walks into her office, he storms in there, which we already know he likes to stalk her, we already know that. So he might as well just be there all day. He walks in, he kicks the author out that she's having a meeting with, and he goes, Anna, I sent you an email. It bounced. And I literally busted a gut laughing. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'm starting to wonder if in another world, he's not her father. He's not her father. No husband would do this. Unless you're jealous or you're suspicious. But over your last name on your email? Who gives a shit? Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. This is why it's so freaking funny at times. But, oh my God. Oh man, and I know what you're saying, but why doesn't she just hyphenate it? You know what? Honestly, I'm sorry if anybody has their name like this, but I can't stand hyphenated names. I can't stand it. George Carlin said it best, folks.
Hyphenated names. Hey lady, pick a fucking name, would you please? Pick a fucking name. Hi, I'm Emily Jericho Fortescue. Hi, I'm George Jerk Me Off. Fuck you too.
So he says it bounces, and again, that never gets resolved. It never does. It happens throughout the movie, but it never gets resolved. She never decides what name to take. Okay, next scene. It only means we'll get it over with faster. Okay, so then they're going around shopping. And again, guys, like I said, nothing happens in this movie. They're together now. That's it. They have a scene where she's cooking dinner for him. They have a scene where they're having sex again. Hardcore sex. Not really, because if they had hardcore sex, it'd be NC-17, not rated R. They have a scene where they're talking about buying a house. And, oh, and my favorite thing is when they buy the house and he grabs her. Christian brings Anna up to the house. She didn't even know he bought this house yet. They're standing outside the house, and it's all big and everything because he's rich and all that. And he goes, Anna, I just bought this house for us. And she looks at it and she goes, I love it. I love it. You haven't even been inside of it yet, you bitch! Like, who talks like this? What woman would be okay with that? Like, oh my God. It's both funny and ridiculous and freaking stupid all in one. I don't know how, like, that's quite an accomplishment. It's quite an accomplishment to do that. So that happens. And then we get to the scene where and you're probably wondering, well, AB, what is the plot of this? Well, there is a little plot. The main plot is her old boss, Jack, from the other movies, is coming in to try to kill Christian and take Anna because he's jealous of Christian. But even that goes nowhere. Nowhere. It goes nowhere, folks. It goes nowhere. It kind of goes somewhere towards the end, but I don't give two shits about the characters anyway. So therefore, this whole thing is pointless. So, okay, so then we cut to the scene where they buy the house. And the realtor's talking to them, and she's really hot, and she's hitting on Christian, and Anna sees this, and Anna threatens her privately. She's saying, I'm Mrs. Gray now. You don't touch my husband. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. And she's like, I have the plans here. Here's the plans for the house. And they're actually talking as if it's a conversation. Guys, this does not move the story along at all. At all. It's like if my parents were buying a house and they were talking to the realtor and I brought my camera in and taped it for like 5 minutes. That's what that scene is. Okay? I was trying to stay awake, folks. I went to the 9:30 show at night. I was trying to stay awake. So, that happens. Then they have the sex scenes. Now, here's the thing. There's at least, I want to say maybe 6 sex scenes in this, but you come to expect that, because that's what we're there for. So, they're going into the sex dungeon room again, and he's got her tied up here, 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 and here, you know, like an X, and he starts making out with her and kissing her. She's got the blindfold on, and they're playing the shittiest pop music I've ever heard in my life since the Twilight movies. And he takes out this, I think it's like a vibrator or something. It vibrates. That's what it is. And he sticks it down in her panties, really. And he's doing it to her, and he's doing it, and she's like, she's orgasming and everything. And she goes, literally, I was laughing so hard. She's like, she's moaning really hard, and then he stops doing it because he doesn't want to hurt her, which is weird because you don't do that in BDSM until they scream out the safe word, okay? So he's doing that, and he stops because he's worried about her, and she goes, Christian, why did you stop? I didn't tell you to stop. Keep going. And then literally 2 seconds later, she screams out the safe word, Red, Red, Red! Why did you ask him if he wasn't going to stop, if you were just going to stop him anyway? explain, please? So that was pointless. So then they come back. Okay, so then they bought a new house, but they still got to move stuff out of the really nice apartment that they're in. So Anna goes in there. Jack is there waiting for her. He's got her up by the knife, which we saw in the trailers. He's got the knife at her. And her secret guards come in. Oh, yeah, she has secret guards everywhere she goes now because now she's married to the guy. They come in. They grab him. And again, here's another scene that I thought was kind of funny. They grab him by the ground. They got his hands behind his back. And they're like, I got nothing to hold him down with. And they look, and Anna looks at them and she goes, we have things. Let me get my handcuffs. Let me get my handcuffs from when we had sex earlier. That'll hold him down. Jesus. 155 million this piece of crap made already, folks. So they go in, they get the handcuffs. They wheel him out. He goes to jail. He gets out on bail later in the movie, by the way. He ends up flipping the whole story, saying that Anna came on to him and all that stuff. But again, nobody gives a shit. So Christian takes Anna, family. Oh, yeah. So Christian decides to take Anna and the family to this cabin in the woods. And again, it looks just like Twilight Breaking Dawn. It looks just like it where they were hiding out. Looks just like it, folks. There's pine trees everywhere. It looks just like it. And then we cut to Christian on the piano singing a really shitty version of Paul McCartney's classic song, Maybe I'm Amazed. And I'm like, oh, way to take a great shit on Paul McCartney. Way to do that. Thank you. So he's playing that and he's saying, I didn't think he was that good a singer, but you be the judge of that. Oh, yeah. By the way, there are so many pointless scenes in this movie that lead to them having sex. I'm not kidding. It's like they use it as foreplay. It's so, like, for example, there's a car chase scene, which again is completely pointless. They're in a car chase scene, which is pretty much a product placement ad for the car that she's driving. I don't know what kind of car it is, but she's driving it really, really fast. They're trying to lose this guy behind them, and they pull in this parking lot, and then she's sitting there, and she's got a rush, and Christian's like, Anna, that was so good, we lost him, and she's like, takes a seatbelt off, and the pop music starts, and she hops right on him, and I'm like, okay, go right ahead. They use the car chase as foreplay, and then they use other things as foreplay. Like, for example, she's giving him a haircut. Comes right out of nowhere. I think you need a haircut. Let me give you a haircut. They're in the bathroom. She's giving him a haircut. He's got his head back. She's giving him a haircut and everything, shampoo, and then, and while she's doing it, his hand right on her leg, going up her leg, going up to the crotch, and the pop music starts, and I'm like, well, who didn't see that one coming? And then, okay, so that's going on. There's a couple of things. Oh, yeah. There's a scene when they're all in the cabin. When Christian and his family and Anna, they're all in the cabin with security guards. And Anna wakes up, gets some ice cream, and she's sitting in the kitchen alone in the dark. And then Christian gets up out of bed, walks into the kitchen, and grabs some ice cream out of the fridge. And he turns around and he sees Anna, and he says, and I'm not paraphrasing, he goes, Anna, I was looking all over for you. No, you weren't, douchebag. You went into the kitchen to get a snack. You were not looking for Anna. You did not make that clear. All right? You woke up out of bed, not knowing she wasn't there next to you. You went into the kitchen, you went to get ice cream, you turn around, she was there, and you had to say, I was looking for you? What? But they have ice cream in their hands. And they're sitting in the kitchen together. And they're not wearing any pants. Guess where it goes? Do I have to spell it out for you? So, that happens. Okay, by the way, yeah, okay, I'll spell it out for you. They put ice cream all over their bodies and they lick it up while the pop song plays. And, yeah, so that goes on. Oh, by the way, it's just like Twilight, there are montages. So many montages in this movie. Like, that just shows me how much of a story James Foley actually had directing this. Because there's nothing there. And, you know, I'm watching this movie play out, and I'm checking my phone halfway through, and again, just like 50 Shades Darker, 25 minutes in, it keeps going, and it feels like 45 minutes in. And they make montages of the stupidest things ever. Like, for example, the whole car chase scene, that's a montage. The whole haircut scene, that's a montage. Literally. It's just montages to pad it out. And there's even a montage at the end of the movie when Anna is remembering when she first met him and when they fell in love, just like Twilight! Oh my god. It really is Twilight 8, Climax in the IMAX, folks. That's really what it is. So then, yeah, by the way, if you're wondering why I saw this in the IMAX theater, it's because the regular show was a little later. And you know what? I'm like, you know, I thought to myself, you know, if we're gonna end this trilogy, this really shitty trilogy, we're gonna go out on top. We're going into the IMAX theater to watch this. Okay. So then they're married, and then she gets pregnant. And I remember saying to myself, if they do what Twilight did, I'm gonna really effing hate this movie. And they kind of did. She gets morning sickness in the bathroom, and she literally says to herself, how can this be? I don't know. Maybe it was one of the 800 sex scenes over the last 3 movies. It's a possibility, but that's just me. So then she gets pregnant. She doesn't know how she's going to tell Christian. She tells him at dinner, and his initial reaction, ladies, I tell you, if this was reality, dude, I hated this character so much in the first movie, and you know that from watching my review, but the second one, not so much, because the second one, nothing really happened, but here, it brought me right back to the first movie. I hated this character all over again. It came back. He looks at her after she says, I'm pregnant, and he says, literally, out loud, he doesn't say what Edward said. He doesn't say, we'll get that abomination out of you. We'll take it out of you. He doesn't say that. He says this. I had other plans for us. I had other plans for our early years. I'm not ready to be a father. It's not all her, douchebag. It's not all her. It's half yours, too. You fucking idiot. God. What a horrible thing to say to your wife! Is anybody ready to be a father? No! Is anyone ready to be a mother? No! But you don't say that! You don't say that to your wife! That's a horrible thing to say! I had other plans for us. We can't have a baby. Like somehow it's all her fault. What a douchebag. What a fucking douchebag. And you're probably going, AB, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. Yeah, but it's a movie that's making $155 million box office so far. That really pisses me off. Twilight made more money. That even pisses me off even more. But So then, but you know what? Something else happens after that. I should mention this. Anna is a little smarter than Bella because there's a scene in the movie where she looks at Christian and she says, how dare you say that? You think I'm ready to be a mother? Maybe it's because of all the sex that we have. And trust me, Christian, we've been doing a lot of that. Like, okay, she actually can think for herself. Okay, that's good. We didn't get any of that before. Because for most of these movies, she's been under contract and doesn't think for herself. But now she is. Okay, good. Finally, something good. Because everyone should think for themselves. They shouldn't just blindly follow everybody else, but oh my God. So that happens, and the end of the movie, the last like 30 minutes, Jack, her old boss, the guy that had her at knife point, he gets out on bail. He's got Christian's sister held hostage, which I didn't even know Christian had a sister. I didn't even know that. He has her hostage, and he says to her, if you don't give me $5 million in cash from your bank account, I'm going to kill her. You got 2 hours. And then she does this whole thing, and it's actually shot really well, and it's built, the suspense is building up, but again, you don't care because you don't care about the characters, so that went right out. This whole 30 minutes is pointless. She gets there, Christian's got her phone, he tracks her, because she won't tell Christian she's afraid because it's Christian's sister held hostage. They go, she gets a gun, she shoots Jack in the kneecap, and he falls down, the cops show up, they arrest him, they save the sister. Christian finds out about the money and everything, and Anna gets kicked in the gut, and she's pregnant, you know, before she kills Jack. Jack kicks her in the gut, he doesn't know she's pregnant, that whole thing. But again, we could care, we just want to get to the end credits at this point, we don't care. So, this happens, she's in the hospital bed, and Christian's there, and he holds her, and he says, oh, Anna, I'm sorry, I just don't know how I'm gonna be a father. I'm sorry, douchebag, I'm not gonna forget those words that you said earlier at the dinner table when she first told you. I'm not gonna forget that. So, lays down, and then after that, she, you know, this whole thing, and again, you know, it's not the fact that Christian said that. Like, it's like, okay, you know, like the whole thing they're trying to back it up with, the reason he said that stuff is because, well, you know, he's just scared of being a father. He's scared. Everybody is! Everybody's terrified of being a father at first! It's a new experience! Everybody is! Every dad is! Every father is afraid at first. It all depends on how you show it. Nice way of showing it, asshole! So at the end, he lays down there on the hospital bed, he goes, I'm sorry. And then they find out that where his birth mother is, the one that abused him, and by the way, we don't know anything about his mother, and the fact that his mother abused him, and how she abused him, and him coping with that, and getting through that. Like, no! Forget that! We're not gonna go into that at all! Let's have more sex scenes! And oh, did you really expect them to answer everything in this one? I didn't! And I was right! So, the movie ends with her having the montage, and then they go visit the grave of the mother that abused him when he was a kid, and he puts flowers on her grave, so I guess he's gotten over it, but he never forgave her, not really. Putting flowers down does not mean you forgive him. He didn't say anything. He hasn't come along anyway, and the movie ends with them lifting up their son. They have a son, he's like 2 years old, and she's pregnant with child number 2, with this douchebag, and then they walk to their house, the movie fades out, the credits come up, I am thanking the Lord I can get out of my seat and never sit through these again. And folks, what have we learned in this trilogy? What have we learned? Well, let's take a look at Star Wars, the original trilogy. What is that trilogy about? It's about a character that we don't really know about. We learn more about him, and we learn about who he is at the end. What's Lord of the Rings about? Starts off with Frodo. It goes through there, we find out more about him, we find out more about the other characters like Gandalf and Aragorn and Legolas and all these other characters, and we find out a lot about them. In the end, it's a big revealing. Like, we know a lot of things about these characters. Harry Potter, same thing. It's not a trilogy, but we learn more about these characters as we go on. What have we learned from these characters? I'll tell you what we've learned about these characters.
Absolutely nothing.
So how can you call this a trilogy if nothing happens? Here's a woman that meets a man, doesn't know why she loves this man, has rated R / PG-13 BDSM sex with him, because it can't be NC-17, it can't be that. They break up, they get back together, they get married, they do more sex, they have a kid. The end. Wow, what an exciting trilogy, right? Are those all the notes? Yeah, those are all the notes. Okay, so that's my review of 50 Shades Freed, folks. We are free! Free! We don't have to watch any of these anymore. Thank you, right? Yeah. So that's my review of 50 Shades Freed, Twilight 8, Climax in the IMAX. And guys, I will see you guys in the next review. Have a happy Valentine's Day. Later. Okay, now that my review is done, it's time. One last time. That's the end of 50 Shades. Oh, there's another poster. One moment.